Hey, good morning. John Johnson here, and welcome to Get Your Mind Right Mailbag Edition. And the title of today's episode is Don't Count on Anyone. Now, today's episode is all about standing on your business when the path forward isn't handed to you and the solution is not so obvious. Now, you're going to hear three sharp questions today about navigating sticky sales situations. At the end of the episode, we're heading into the backstory where we talk about one of the most important lessons I ever got from my dad. A short, sharp truth that still frames how I lead, how I conduct myself, and how I coach today. Well, let's get into it.
Welcome to Get Your Mind Right. Today, we're diving into your questions and insights in our mailbag segment. Thanks to everyone who wrote in. Let's open up the mailbag.
Well, the first one is we got a newcomer to the show here today, and it's Ken Chappelle from California. And Ken says, John, what terminals should we lead with when we see Toast as the current provider? Well, Ken, first things first, you're asking the right question here. Too many reps try to fight Toast with complexity, and that is a losing game because you don't out-tech Toast, you don't out-market Toast, but you do out-position them. And here's how to do it. The first thing is to understand what those key functions are for your restaurateur, because most of these merchants, they aren't using a vast majority of Toast's back-end suite. They want basic functionality, smooth tipping, fast ticket printing, and a sleek presentation. Now, you're not replacing an entire enterprise software system here. What you are replacing is pain. And in this case, in Toast context here, this means you're replacing fees, control, and surprise surcharges, and that's what's really hurting them, not some fancy screen or end user terminal here. The next thing you want to do is you want to focus this pitch not on price, but on cost, and also not on capability. Merchants using Toast are getting absolutely cooked. They're getting high rates. They don't have any sorts of transparency. And if you want support, well, good luck of getting a hold of a human at Toast. Try this out on your prospect. Mr. Merchant, you don't need to throw out the whole kitchen. You just need to stop overpaying for the ingredients. Now, this isn't just fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that FUD factor that we love so much. These are facts. This is about Toast's nearly insurmountable contracts and the serviceability of their account. Use cash discounting or dual pricing to show them how to save without sacrificing. This is how you win, Ken. Less friction, more control, and savings that make them rethink the whole platform. I appreciate the question. Next is from Nate Ralston from Daphne, Alabama. And Nate writes, now that CEPD has taken effect as of October 15, what solution should we be selling level 2 and level 3 merchants, and how will CEPD affect those merchants without an upgraded solution? Hey, Nate, this is critical. CEPD, as you point out, it's not coming. It's here, and it's torching margins for merchants who haven't adapted. Now, first of all, let's talk about what CEPD is. That's a fancy word for corporate, education, purchasing, and government data. It's a shorthand term used by Visa and MasterCard to describe the card types that qualify for level 2 and level 3 enhanced data interchange rates. So, what's CEPD actually doing? Well, it's downgrading these transactions automatically if enhanced data, whether it's level 2 or level 3, isn't passed correctly. Doesn't matter if the merchant should qualify, because if they don't submit the right information, boom, they're getting hit with standard rates every single time. And this is death by 1,000 fees. So, who's affected? Anyone who's running business to business or business to government transactions, anyone invoicing with high to mid tickets, and anyone who's relying on their processor to auto and magically qualify them for better rates without lifting a finger. Now, how do you mitigate this, Nate? Well, you lead with gateways that are going to make it easy for the merchant to comply. Once again, you have to make it easy for the merchant. Make sure that you walk them through which data elements are in fact required in order to qualify for these better rates. If they don't know what customer code or what tax amount fields are, show them how your system inputs that for them. Now, this is an odd situation in our business, but you can actually use compliance in this instance as your sales advantage. Try this, Nate. Hey, Mr. Merchant, you're leaving money on the table every single day, and Visa just made it worse. I'm going to fix this in a way that doesn't require you to change how you do your business, just how it gets processed. Now, Nate, this is what it means to become a trusted advisory. You are solving something they don't even realize is broken. And by doing so, you're going to own this relationship. Solid question, Nate. I appreciate you. Our last question of the day comes from Frank Kozlowski from Nashville, Tennessee. And Frank asks, John, what's the best way to open a cold call when you don't know the decision maker's name? Well, Frank, it's where the tough guys get separated from the tourists. Walking in blind requires confidence and clarity, not bulldozer energy. So here's how you do it. The first thing is to read the room. You're walking into a busy location. Well, it's time to pump the brakes. It's quiet. It's in between rush. It's go time. Frank, use this opener. Say, hey, man, I caught you mid-shift here, but who's the person that handles the credit card processing? I want to make sure I'm not wasting your time or theirs. Hey, this is disarming because chances are no one's ever entered with that line before. Plus, you're showing respect. It shows them that you understand the drill. Now, Frank, if they give you pushback or they act like a gatekeeper, try this. Hey, I totally get it. Probably say the same thing if someone walked in on me cold. I'm not here to pitch something today. I just need 30 seconds with whoever signs off on the fees. If it's not a fit, no worries. Now, what you're doing here, Frank, is you're controlling the energy. You're not begging. You're not rushing. You're showing them that you are a top professional. Now, full disclosure here, I know Frank, and Frank aspires to be a top professional. Frank, never ever forget that a top professional is a professional all the time, not just part of the time. This is a full-time job. And the final tip, Frank, don't try to guess titles. Never say, is the owner in? You might as well scream, slam the door in my face, and send me away with my walking papers that state never come back. Instead, focus on that function. Who signs off on your monthly statements or contracts? Frank, thanks so much for a great question. And now, the backstory. Welcome to the backstory, where I take a step back before we move forward. Each week, I share moments that shape me, whether it's my time as a sales rep, my journey as a dad, experiences I had, stories I've learned, or the curiosity that's followed me since childhood. Because every lesson learned today, well, there's usually a story worth telling behind it. Let's get into it. Today's backstory is titled, Don't Count on Anyone. Now, my dad, he didn't sit my sister and me down for heart-to-heart talks. I can't think of a single time we had a family meeting. Speech wasn't punctuated with dramatic pauses. But one thing Dad did have was the daddy pulpit. And from that pulpit, he preached short, sharp truths that still ring in my ears today. And one of them is you can't count on anyone. Now, Dad wouldn't say this with bitterness, and he wasn't telling us to mistrust people, but he was telling us the truth. He'd see it. We'd be scrambling around for school, working on a group project, some sort of frustration because someone we were counting on didn't come through. And that's when you'd hear it. If you hear it's important and you leave it in someone else's hands, you're taking a great chance at failing. And I'm telling you what, my sister and me, we heard this many different times and many permutations. One of my favorites, Dad says, if you've got a heart problem and you're counting on someone to show up at noon with your medication, well, better make sure your funeral arrangements are already made. Now, in my dad's case, this was not a motivational quote. This was a principle. Now, personally, I got my first management responsibilities at the tender age of 18, and I quickly learned that my dad spoke the truth. And now, as the years pass, I not only get it and have got it, I get it more as each year passed because I've watched things and deals fall apart because people wait for a gatekeeper to call back. I've seen merchants lose tens of thousands because they assumed someone else had it handled for them. And I've watched promising salespeople blow opportunities because they expected someone to spoon feed them at the right moment, the right contact, and the right condition. And in my dad's voice and his ears, it's still ringing because he was right. If something matters, don't wait. Don't hope. Don't become that hopium addict. Hopium equals death. Do not outsource the urgency. Move, own it, and dig in. And you know what? If someone does come through and they do help and they do what they say they were going to do, that's fantastic. But if they don't, old number one is still moving. Here's what I got out of today. Ken taught us that you can't win, you win against Toast by simplifying, not replacing. Harp on Toast's dramatic shortcomings, which is their expense and their customer service. And Nate has taught us how CEPD has changed the game. Use the right gateway to keep your merchant compliant and cost effective. And Frank, when he's out there cold calling with a name, don't wing it. Respect that front line, lead with clarity, and take control of the conversation. And the backstory, your outcomes live and die determined by how much ownership you take. Don't wait for someone else to fix it. Be the one who moves first. Now, it's quiz time. What does CEPD penalize? Merchants who don't submit enhanced data, merchants with slow terminals, or reps who say, I'll circle back. Drop your answer in the box below. If you like the story on my dad, click on the box below. There's a couple more doozies in there about him. And hey, if you like it, hit and smash that subscribe and like button. Share it with someone who you think can use it. If you got questions or comments, as always, I love to hear about them. I'll see you back here on Wednesday for Get Your Mind Right.